Zoroastrianism is an incredibly perplexed religion that is facing the threat of extinction. As the oldest monotheistic religion, Zoroastrianism predates religions such as Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. But what is Zoroastrianism, and what distinguishes this religion from others? To start, Zarathustra, the prophet. Tradition states that his life was full of miracles. One day, when he was 30, he had a revelation. The god Ahura Mazda came to him and bestowed his infinite wisdom. Overall, the main concept to take note of is cosmic dualism. Cosmic dualism identifies the presence of two opposing forces in the universe, specifically with regards to the cosmos, earth, heaven, and hell. Essentially, this moral understanding of good versus evil. To convey this sense of dualism, let's begin with Ahura Mazda, the ultimate god. He is self-created, omnipresent, and omniscient. He is the wisest one, having known everything and created everything. On the other hand, Ahriman represents evil. He is not omniscient. He is stupid, ignorant, blind, and cannot see his final fate. The Zoroastrian population has experienced an unstable sense of history. Currently, the largest portion of Zoroastrians reside in modern-day Iran and Gujarat, India. Though due to the circumstances brought on by historical and cultural contexts, the Zoroastrian community has had to deal with tremendous fluctuations in their ability to practice their religion. But what has shaped Zoroastrianism into the religion that it is today? I will be briefly going over the timeline in which Zoroastrians flourished as well as were persecuted. Since Zoroastrianism took its start in Persia, let's begin by looking here. The Achaemenid Empire is where the early stages of Zoroastrianism emerged. Zarathustra's teachings became the main focus of the empire, and the idea of divine right was used to justify one's power. It's important to note that there was religious tolerance practiced towards other religions. Once the First Persian Empire collapsed, the Macedonian period emerged where Alexander the Great conquered the area and as a result introduced Hellenistic culture into the mainstream. In the process of this, Avestan manuscripts were destroyed and Zoroastrian priests were killed. The Seleucid Empire continued Alexander's beliefs and policies. Then the Parthian Empire emerged as a result of a group of nomads invading and settling in northeast Iran. Here, Zoroastrianism became regionally autonomous, and a large effort was enforced to undo Alexander's destruction. The Sasanian Empire gave a lot of power back to Zoroastrianism. It's important to note that while Zoroastrianism achieved peak freedom, they practiced the same discriminatory activities towards others as their previous and eventual oppressors. As a result of the death of Prophet Muhammad, Islam expanded into other parts of the Middle East. During the Islamic conquest, minority religions were faced with two options: convert or face the consequences. During this time, temples and fire shrines were destroyed, a tax was placed on non-Muslims, and Zoroastrian status got reduced to kafir, or non-believers. During this gruesome and awful period of persecution, those that didn't want to endure the difficulties fled. While a minority group ended up surviving in present-day Iran, a group called the Parsis ended up fleeing to India. If we flash forward a few hundred years later, we arrive in the modern day. During the 20th century, Zoroastrianism made a comeback in Iran. Reza Shah Pahlavi, the Shah of Iran, adopted Zoroastrian calendar names in the Pravahar system. The Zoroastrian identity was essentially tied to the Iranian identity. While Zoroastrians remain a minority in numbers and still often have their rights restricted, the community is able to have more of a sense of freedom than they have in the past. Zoroastrians continue to face threats that represent the different degrees and types of issues they have to deal with. Currently, approximately 200,000 Zoroastrians exist in the world. I will be discussing the different threats that impact the population of Zoroastrians today. Historical persecution accounts for the first threat to modern Zoroastrian populations. Within the modern world, two factions emerge: Orthodox and Reformist Zoroastrians. With the infiltration of Western ideals, Reformers urged to reduce excessive ceremonialism. Reformists also believe that Zoroastrianism is a monotheistic religion, while the Orthodoxy believes that it is a polytheistic religion. Staying with the topic of orthodoxy comes the rules surrounding conversion. Because the Orthodox community is strictly against interfaith marriages and conversion into the religion, this stops new people from entering the faith. Reformists believe that non-Zoroastrian spouses, children of mixed marriages, adopted children, and really anyone that wants to join should be able to. In this video, I discussed the basic beliefs of Zoroastrians, the history of Zoroastrianism, and the overall degree of threats that Zoroastrianism faces today.